So I think of kind of four things when I think about agility, and none of those deal with frameworks or the word like all the buzz terms.
Hi, I'm Betsy, and I'm so excited to be celebrating the 5-year anniversary of my company, FreshTilt. To celebrate, I'm having a series of conversations with professional collaborators who have inspired me over the course of the past 5 years. The series is called Fresh 5, since we're celebrating 5 years of FreshTilt, and since the conversations are around 5 minutes apiece. My hope is that you will get a glimpse into the awesomeness of these people through the conversations, and that you might also be inspired yourself. I hope you enjoy.
So Rob, thank you for joining me for this conversation today.
Thank you. It is the culmination of my life's work. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. For our conversation today, Rob, I would love to focus on your spirit of service. So we have worked together in a number of different settings over the past 5 years, and without fail, you're always the one who's raising your hand, asking, how can I help? How can we get this thing moving forward? You know, your commitment to action really stands out. For example, you know, there have been times when maybe we were in a meeting that was kind of spinning into analysis paralysis, or maybe we're with a group of people who's a little hesitant to take action. But the overarching theme is you're the one saying, hey guys, let's try something. Let's move forward. How can I help? Let's do this thing. So as we think about that spirit of service, my first question is, what comes up for you when you hear the term servant leadership?
So I think the first thing is just ultimately it's about service to others. I'm a big believer that the wonderful things that happen in the world are done by competent, driven groups of people, so not individuals. So then, given that it's a competent group of driven team members, right, who are accomplishing these things, the next question is like, how do you support them as a leader? And you can't really lead other driven people around by the nose. So the better way to do that is to support them through service to them. And I think that looks like their basic needs, supporting people in teams, encouraging people in teams. And that's kind of the basic. I think like that's really what it boils down to is if you take an org chart and you flip it upside down, it's not about people reporting to you. It's about you serving a group of people to ensure that they have what they need to be successful.
I love that mental image. Thank you. That flip it upside down and you are serving that way. So for me, one thing that comes up when I think about that, like flip it upside down servant leadership, is how do you find that balance between helping out, serving, but also making sure that you are empowering others and enabling others and helping them on their own growth path? Sure. So how do you think about that balance?
Honestly, I feel like David Marquette, who wrote that, Turn the Ship Around, I think was probably most influential in my mind, at least in this opinion. And I think competence is the key word. So like to empower people, they must be competent to do the job. People don't like to be empowered when they have no idea where to even begin. So I think that's how I try to, I guess, figure out, like, is this a support and ask open-ended questions and provide the environment for people to be successful? Or is it more of a do the thing and teach that person until they gain the confidence so that they can be kind of empowered to do that? Because I feel like empowerment's a loaded term. Ultimately, empowerment is not an act. Empowerment is an environment where people act essentially freely as proxies for leadership, right? So and I think that's the really key. In order for them to do that and to make decisions and for a leader to be comfortable with that decision, that person has to be competent and you have to have trust in those people. So I think that's the determinator is if they are competent, you empower and support. If they are not competent, and not in a negative way, right? They just don't have the knowledge to do the job, then you got to guide, teach, and do it shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, that makes so much sense that first you have to make sure people have the skills and the knowledge, that you're aligned on the expectations and the context before we can talk about some of these terms like empowerment.
For sure.
So my final question, as you know, FreshTilt focuses on agility consulting, and everything we're talking about today, to me, is absolutely a key part of agility. So I'm curious to know, what does agility mean to you?
So I think of kind of four things when I think about agility, and none of those deal with frameworks or the word like all the buzz terms. So I think the things that really matter to me for agility, I think, are the desire, or more importantly, the commitment to validating assumptions in the things that we do, the commitment or the desire to continuously kind of tweak and improve how we do those things, to boldly kind of acknowledge what sunk cost is. Sorry about that. And kind of go into a different direction. Like I don't want to say pivot, because pivot's become like the new buzzword of the industry, right? But the idea of letting go of sunk costs and not being beholden to that. And then I think lastly, just solving problems. So people talk about value delivery a lot, but really value to me is about solving problems. And I think agility is trying to solve those problems as quickly as possible. And that usually manifests through iterative delivery of ways to solve problems and kind of building more momentum towards these bigger impactful moments versus like, the big bang delivery.
Well said. Thank you, Rob. This has been awesome. And thanks for your time.
Thank you. All right. Have a great day.
You too.